guys, it's Manager Kylie, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the different positions and roles on a football field. So today I'm going to go through the many different positions on a football field and how each position is used to help the team be successful. And in every play on football, there may be different positions that are on the field. It's not like a soccer or basketball that these certain positions are always on the field. Some positions are used in certain plays and other positions are used in other plays, and they can be switched off on which ones are actually on the field. So I'm going to go through all the different positions and kind of who they interchange with and the different roles they play and how they get the ball or how they stop the ball to be successful. But if you guys are interested in more sports administration, coaching tips, and drills that you can use with your team, definitely hit the subscribe button, turn the bell so you get notified every time I upload, as opposed to a new video every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So on a football field, it's played 11v11, and so you have your offense, your defense. There is times that you also have your special teams on the field. So I'm going to go through the offense, I'm going to go through the defense, and then I'm going to go through some of the special teams positions that are just unique to certain plays. So for the offense, you start with your 5 linemen, and you typically have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Your 5 linemen are your main center group, and to start off, for the offensive lineman, in that center of the group is your center. They're the one whose job is to snap the ball to your quarterback. So they are over the ball to start off with, and they are getting ready to snap the ball to start the play and get the ball to your quarterback. Next to them on each side, you have your left and your right guard. Their job is to protect the quarterback when the quarterback is passing. Their job is to also try to clear the defense out of the way to make sure there's a path if there is a running play going on. And outside of your guards, the other 2 men on your 5-man offensive line are your tackles, your left and your right tackle. And their job is to also protect the quarterback in the pass and try to clear some area for the running backs to go through if they're running a play. The next position is your running back, and their job is pretty much what it sounds like. Their job is to run the football. Their job is to get either a handoff or some little flea flicker toss from the quarterback and get the ball up the field by running it. They typically line up near the quarterback or behind the quarterback so that they're close to the quarterback to be able to get that handoff. And running backs are split up into 2 different positions. You can have your fullbacks and your halfbacks. It's just how they position themselves. Typically your fullbacks are blocking for your running back, which is your halfback is generally the one that's running the ball. They are there to block. Either player can run it, but generally your fullback is a slightly larger player that's trying to block for that running back or your halfback in trying to clear a path. The next positions you can have are wide receivers, and their job is to catch passes. Now under the category of wide receivers, you do have your wide receivers, and these are the ones that line up on the farthest part of the field. They are the widest from the center of the field, and their job is to catch passes. And you do also have your slot receivers, and these people line up in the slot, so they line up between the wide receiver and the offensive line, so they are in between. That's why they're in the slot, so they're the slot receiver, and they can also catch the passes. Now sometimes people might replace a slot receiver or some other position on the field with a tight end, and they actually act as kind of like a multiplayer. They can catch passes like a wide receiver along with blocking on the line like an offensive lineman, so they kind of double as a multi-person that's able to both do some blocking in some plays and also catch passes in other plays. And then your last offensive position is your quarterback, and this is kind of the main man on the field. They're the one that's getting the ball after every snap. They're figuring out whether they need to hand it off for a run play, throw the ball down the field. They're your main man that needs to be protected, as they have the ball generally right after the snap. And they do have those 2 options, and then their job is to just make sure they can get the ball to somebody that's going to be able to get it up the field, whether that means they're passing it up the field to a wide receiver to catch it, or if they're handing it off to somebody to make sure that they are clear and running up the field. Then you have your defense, and your defense also has a defensive line. So the first players on your defense are your defensive linemen, and these are split up into your defensive tackles and your defensive ends, and their job is to line up opposite the offensive line. These generally have around 4 players just because of the way they set up. You can use more players if you want. Defense can go anywhere. The offense has that set. You need to have 7 people on the line, your 5 linemen and 2 other people, where defense kind of can go wherever they want. If they want to position themselves all on the line, they could. If they want to position themselves all back, they could. Defense has more flexibility because they're just trying to stop the offense. So your job of your defensive ends and your defensive tackles are to get to the quarterback. They're to if they have to sack the quarterback, block some passes, or try to stop that running back from being able to get far up the field. The next you have is your linebackers, and they line up behind the defensive linemen, and they kind of are hybrid. They're both attacking the run if the run's coming up the field, along with they are able to stop the passes if the passes are going to some sort of wide receiver. And they are split up into middle and outside linebackers. That's just strictly how they are positioned on the field. If they're in the middle, they're a middle linebacker. If they're on the outside of the other linebackers, they're an outside linebacker. And then you have your defensive backs, which are also known as your secondary, and this includes your corners and your safety. And your corners are on the corners of the field, they're on the edge of the field, and their job is to stop those wide receivers. They're usually playing close defense with those wide receivers. And then you also have your safeties, and they're the deepest on the field. They're kind of the last man that's stopping if there's a long pass. They're there to help with that. And these are generally smaller, speedier players because they're covering a lot of the field trying to stop those receivers from getting passes, or if they do get a pass, they're trying to tackle the receiver down. And then you have your special team, and these are players that come on during punts, extra points, field goals, kickoffs. All of that is your special team. Some of your offense and defense will play on special teams. There's also some specific players that just play on special teams. So the first is your kicker or your place kicker, and they're the ones that kick your extra points. They're the ones who kick your field goals. That's who also kicks your kickoffs. And with the kicker, you do have a holder. So for those extra points and those field goals, the ball is snapped to the holder, and the holder is the one putting their hand on the ball to make sure the ball stays steady so that the kicker is able to kick it. And they actually receive the ball from not the center, but actually the long snapper. So this is the person that snaps the ball for those kicks, as the snap is generally going longer than the typical snap from a center to a quarterback. So the long snapper is able to snap the ball just a little bit harder and get it to where it needs to go. The long snapper also snaps the ball for the punt, so they're snapping that directly to the punter where there's nobody holding it for a punt. And that other player is your punter, and that punter is the one that's taking and drop kicking the ball if you're punting the ball away. And then on the opposite side, you do have a returner. So on a kickoff or a punt, the other team will put a returner, and that's the person's job to get the ball and try to return it up the field. Obviously, they want to return it as far as they can up the field, or if they want to choose to call for a fair catch. This is generally the person that is trying to receive that kickoff or the punt and get the ball for their team and secure it so that their team can run their offense. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know there's a lot of positions in football. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer them. I will have a playlist linked at the end that has a bunch of different sports and the position and roles for all those different sports if you're interested in seeing this type of video for any other sport. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this on my channel, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.